David.
Good morning.
David Pendleton.
Yes.
May I ask you a personal question?
Go right ahead.
Are you all stressed out?
Not terribly right now at the moment. Did I miss something?
No, I'm just wondering. I like to ask personal questions at the beginning of the Saturday special.
That's fine with me.
Do you ever get stressed out?
Yes.
How often and what stresses you out?
How often? Something catches me off guard. Usually dealing with difficult people. Sometimes if my frustration, like being in phone tree purgatory for 3 hours, that'll get my stress level up, and
That's great. I never thought about that. Yeah, that'll work.
Yes.
Yeah,
so certainly it's there.
In phone tree, what did you call it?
Purgatory.
Purgatory, right. Okay. Well, listen, this is going to be the KSCO Saturday Stress Special.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. Do you like that idea or do you hate that idea? Are you getting stressed out already?
I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Oh, okay.
I'm not stressed yet.
All right, Dave Michaels.
Good morning, MZ.
There's someone I want to talk to.
Where?
You.
Oh.
You. There is a product in the Dave Cave that you say there's plenty of called de-stress.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does the name implies that it's a way to flush the stress from your system? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. You know, when I first saw de-stress, I thought, oh, this is a vitamin D supplement, but it is not. It is a vitamin B supplement.
And it's lots of vitamin Bs. There's like half a dozen. Is there a vitamin B0 all the way up to vitamin B12?
B1 through B12.
Oh, but not B0.
No, not B0. No negative Bs either.
Yeah. Okay, and so it was sort of a really cool product idea for them to come up with de-stress, to de-stress yourself. I've repeated this many times on the radio over the years, that a wise man once told me, stress must be viewed as a disease-causing entity. And that wise man was none other than my good friend Roy Masters,
right,
who moved to heaven a year or two ago in April, I think. And, it just occurred to me that it's time that we did a Saturday stress special. And I will introduce the other participants in this panel today. But tell us what's going on in the Dave Cave today.
Well, in the Dave Cave MZ, it is, we still have our special going on. That is, buy your tangy tangerine at regular price, and everything else will be 30% off. Now, you should get down there as fast as possible because this is the third week we've been doing this, and the supply is starting to dwindle. If you can't make it down there yet, or maybe you just want to call in, don't call the station. Call 218-KSCO. That's 218-5726 to find out what we have and, the hours. But every Saturday, I'm open from 10 till 2. And I'm open right here at the Dave Cave. We're at 2300 Portola Drive, right next to the main studio. You will find me lurking in the cave, MZ.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dave will be lurking.
We have de-stress. I'm pretty sure we have de-stress, MZ. I'm going to double check on that. But we have plenty of BTT.
I like to give names to people. Mm-hmm. And maybe going maybe this will stick, maybe it won't. But I think LD has a sort of a lurking Dave. Has sort of a nice ring to it. Yeah, Lurking Dave. Yeah,
it does sound. It does have a good name, a good ring to it. So I'm out there in the Dave Cave, MZ. Again, you can stop by the Dave Cave at 2300 Portola Drive, or you can go online and find that at KSCO.com. You will also find a link to donate to your favorite radio station at KSCO.com. So go to KSCO.com to find a link there, or call 218-5726 to get a hold of me, and we'll get you hooked up. Sound good, MZ?
No, sounds fabulous.
All right.
We love it. Okay, thank you, Dave Michaels.
Good morning. A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
Now, in case you're all stressed out, ladies and gentlemen, the next 2 hours is designed to de-stress you. And if you aren't stressed out, the next 2 hours is designed to Stress you out? No. To prevent you from getting stressed out, right? Anyhow, stay with us right up until noon. I think you'll be happy you did, okay?
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
The reason we used the special fanfare music intro to the Saturday special today is because I think this is the first time in history that the Saturday special has as a guest in the studio one of the people who makes the Saturday special possible, okay? And that's Chielo from Ello's at the airport. Chielo, welcome to KSCO. You've been here a number of times already.
Hi, MC. Good
now,
morning.
Why in the world? We were eating at Ella's, and the thing that's so amazing about you at Ella's at the airport is that you go around and greet everybody and talk to them at the tables. I mean, nobody does that, but you do.
Yes. It is my personality, and I remember when I'm a pastor's kid. I grew up in the church, and I started singing at age 6 years old, and I've always been around people, and I like to say hi to everyone, and it makes me feel so better if I say hi to everyone. If I miss something, it's just my personality, and since I was a kid, and it's just natural for me. And I love people, and I enjoy being around people.
I don't know how it came up, but the last time we ate at Ella's at the airport, we were talking about doing a Saturday special all about stress. And you said, I want to be on that. Great. I mean, you're such a radiant personality and a sponsor of the Saturday special, no less. Why would anybody, not jump at that? So that's what we did. But why would you want to be on the Saturday Stress special?
I think it's. I want to share it to everyone about my experience growing up, and I know how hard it is, especially what's going on right now. But I think it's good to share my experience about how, even though during stressful time, I still try to be positive. It's God's word, and I always, the Lord is the strength of my heart, and I want to share that to everyone, that is the remedy and the thing that really helps me and still be positive and still have a smile on my face, because the Lord is my strength.
Well, now, I will second that emotion for sure. It's going to unfold during the next hour and 45 minutes here on your favorite radio station, the Saturday Stress Special, or maybe we should call it the Saturday De-Stress Special, because we don't want to stress people out. We want to de-stress.
Yes.
So let's do that, the Saturday De-Stress Special. Okay, another guest in the studio is my good friend of quite a number of years now, Gary Cocola of Cocola Broadcasting Company. Gary, welcome back to KSCO.
Thank you, Michael.
You were about the most positive person I know.
Well, thank you.
There is something that happened to you earlier this year, very early, that made you, I didn't think it was possible, even more positive. that you want to tell us what all...
Well, yeah, I almost passed from COVID back in January. And when I got better, I decided that was a sign not to ever get stressed again.
And before that, you had been stressed?
Well, yeah.
What are the kinds of things that stressed you?
Silly things. From time to time, when you're dealing with people, things happen, and they stress you out. And now I don't let anything stress me out.
You say no to stress.
Correct.
Wow. I used to say no to stress, but somehow I lost my way.
Well, I can help you find your way.
Thank God. Okay, this will be great. Amy Howe,
Hello.
you're here too.
Good morning.
How are you
everybody.
feeling?
I want to say good morning to most intelligent listener from KSCO.
But
Yeah.
Welcome to the Saturday special.
right. And that's the entire listening audience of KSCO is uber intelligent.
That's
because
right.
we don't allow stupid people to listen ever. And if we catch them, there are severe penalties. Right? Okay. Now here is well, before we move on, is stress any part of your life, or have you
Oh, yeah,
you've
yeah.
managed
From time to time,
rise
sometimes.
above it though, right?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and get the cancer, I get surgery, chemo. So I wake up on the surgery table, I changing, absolutely. When you pass that point, so the life will be different for you.
Wow. So you and Gary have that in common, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So in any case, now let's introduce our phone guest who has been on before a number of times. In fact, he's filled in for me as a host, and it's none other than Alan Masters. Alan Masters, are you there?
I am here. I just want to say thank you, by the way, for inviting me to stay with you at the senior village and the single-wide mobile home that you and your friends live in. I know there's a lot of you.
Nursing home.
I couldn't make it in there. I wasn't at 62. I guess it's a 65 thing. They wouldn't even let me in the front gate, Michael.
Well, it's okay. You got. In fact, we called you, I think, didn't we? But in any case, Alan, your dad, Roy Masters,
Yes.
was a
Yes.
very, very good friend of mine, and he did so much good for humanity in his 93 years of occupying planet Earth. And when I mentioned to you, you're in the Monterey Bay area right now. You're over in Monterey, right? Are you in Carmel Valley or someplace having to do with Concours d'Elegance, right? Because you're a car guy.
Yes, I am. Yep.
And when I mentioned to you that we're going to be doing this Saturday Stress Special, you launched into a lecture to me like your dad would have. And I said, wow, this is great. I mean, I wish this was recorded so we could play it back on the air. But you want to, do you remember what you said to me?
Oh my gosh, you want all of it? It was
Yes.
like an hour and a half.
Yes.
No, I'll give you some snippets. First of all, my dad taught me about stress as a young man, but until we go through stress, like what I just heard there from your folks there, you don't really understand that you have to master stress. It's there to help you. And if you master kind of, mind over matter kind of a thing, if you master what stress is trying to do for you, remember, a kite rises against the wind, not with it. So if you master stress, then it rises, it lifts you up. You ride on it because you become stronger. It gives you character. It's a choice. You either fall to the temptation to get angry at stress, or you look at it and say, okay, I'm supposed to rise up right now. This is a chance for me to rise up and show my true character. Am I weak or am I strong? And you just, like your friend there who almost died of COVID, I had the same situation. I chose the same thing. I said, you know what? Thank you, God, for letting me live through this COVID thing. I refuse to be angered or be stressed out by things. And my dad always told me, stress is good for you. And I think about a chicken and an egg. Remember, if a chicken didn't kick its way out of that egg and break its way out, it would die inside. And that's stress for us. If we don't look at it and say, all right, I'm not going to let you destroy me. I'm going to master this whole thing, which is mind over matter, which is I'm not going to react to you anymore. I'm just going to see you for what you are. You're a fake. And I'm going to deal with the problem instead of being stressed with the problem. I'm going to face my problems. So there was a lot more to say, but I don't want to dominate the show. Stress.
Oh, go ahead and dominate.
Really is good.
Let's have a COVID. Seems like everybody had a COVID, becoming more stronger.
That's right. We
Yeah.
become more stronger. That doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and stress can kill you. I think stress is very toxic if you don't deal with it correctly. You can't take a pill. Well, actually, you can.
Yeah, de-stress by longevity. Yeah, we have a lot of it in stock here at, the Dave
speaking
Cave.
of that, I have been taking the liquid vitamins and minerals, and I got to tell you, that Doc Wallach, he knows what he's talking about. I feel so much better, but that's not. I don't want to do a commercial here, but it is.
Well, that's okay. Do a commercial.
Well. Well, I got involved with it because of you. I thought, I want to be healthier. My wife and my family members, have been taking a lot of his products for years. And but I am healthier now. So after COVID, what is there for us? We either look at COVID as a stress on our life and we get taken down by it, or we say, okay, here's a chance for me to go, you know what, I should be healthier. I should be eating better. I shouldn't be reacting to stress. I should make some positive choices in my life instead of succumbing to these stresses. So now I think just like the folks that are in the studio with you, we have chosen to conquer stress at a much higher level. And now stress is just another thing that's in this world, like a thing, like a tree or a car. We see it and we don't go, oh no, here comes a car, run. That's Chicken Little. We just see it and move out of its way or deal with it. I don't know. To me, stress is now, I'm not going to say it's my friend because nobody likes stress, but I see it coming and I realize I've just got to stand up.
It's like seeing a choo-choo train coming. You want to step off the tracks.
Correct. Get out of its way.
See, I'm not as stupid as I sound. Anyhow.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. I love that you're doing this on the show today. I love it.
Why?
Because the world needs to talk about this because stress is a killer if you let it.
Yeah. But by the way, a lot of times people will call 479-1080 to join the show without my inviting them to. And those people should be prepared to wait a long time because sometimes the guests in the studio, it takes a long time to cover everything that we want to cover. But I will say that the phone lines are open. So if you want to get in and share your stress and de-stress story, we would love to hear from you on today's Saturday de-stress special. 831-479-1080, or you can email mz@ksco.com. We have 3 wonderful guests in the studio, and we have 1 wonderful guest on the telephone. And the topic today is stress. So, and how to beat it. So, Gary.
Yes.
You said that you were that before your adventure with COVID earlier this year, you were a stressed person. Now, I've known you for many years, and I always thought you were, if you were under stress, you did a hell of a job of masking it.
Well, I hid it well.
Right. Okay. But after you were given a new lease on life, and you look at things totally differently, and in fact, the word you've used is ministry.
That's right. That's what I'm doing now.
Would you explain that to people?
Well, when you have a near-death experience, it changes you, and I've been changed. I'm here. I call it now on a pass because the Lord spared me, and I was very close to the other side. And now that I'm back, I'm doing my ministry. And my ministry is, and my wife coined that phrase for me, I'm trying to help people. When someone needs help, I try and step in and do whatever I can to help them. And that has been the biggest change in my life. I've always done it, but not to the extent that I'm doing it now.
Right. Now, Alan, your dad is probably the longest running talk host, that there is, right? I mean, He's been gone, a year? When did he die? I know it was in April. Year and a half, okay.
Yeah, April, year and a half.
Okay. Geez, where was I going with this?
Well, you know what? He was on the radio 55 years.
Okay,
which
right.
I think he was the longest-running talk show host for helping people.
And he did something called the advice line.
Right.
And we carried the advice line on Comey, on our sister station. And somehow, somewhere along the line, advice line changed or it wasn't available. I know you and your brother, David, continued to do a radio program / podcast. And what's that called? Does it resemble anything about the personal advice line that your dad used to do?
Well, it's a little different, and that's why we changed the name. My dad's, I think one of his last books was The Hypnotic States of Americans. And it said, it was advice for people in a perilous world. And I remember my dad saying before he passed, he said, "It's a very perilous world out there." And I remember thinking, boy, it really is. And look at the state of our world today. So we decided to change the name live on the air one day. I guess I did. To Perilous World Radio. And we talk about what's going on in the world daily, Monday through Friday. And it's also live on Rumble and on 20 radio stations around the country. But we didn't feel like we were ready to step into our dad's shoes of offering advice the way he did, because he was the master. He was Yoda. So we changed the name and we do the show. And it's very timely, I think, for people to have a chance on a platform to talk about what is going on. And like your show, Saturday Special, that's what you do. We just do it Monday through Friday for 2 hours. But I love what your friend there said, that, it's his ministry. And I think that's what happens when you get a second chance at life. You look at life so differently. But the one thing that I've learned how to do, and I think that all of us will agree, is that I realize I can't fix myself. I can't change myself. Only our Savior can do that. Only God can do that for us. And he sent Jesus, of course, but I had to learn how to give it up to God and say, God, I don't know. I need your help. And it says to be still and know that I am God and all the rest. And my dad's meditation is called the Be Still and Know meditation exercise. And it basically is just to sit quietly and let God talk to you. Praying is talking to God. Meditating is listening. So the meditation exercise, the Be Still and Know, my dad called it the antidote for all. And you can find it at antidoteforall.com as well. But I just learned how to shut up, because my monkey brain was telling me that I could answer all these questions. And really, I know better than that because of my dad's teachings. I need to just shut up and listen and be still. Blaise Pascal said all of mankind's problems stem from his inability to sit quietly in a room by himself. That's the meditation. Sit quietly by yourself and let God come into your heart and show you what you need to do. So I've learned how to do that, is just stop trying to figure out my problems, ask God, and guess what? It just comes into my heart and I know what to do. And I've been living like that now for a few years, and wow, what a difference. Gary, don't you agree? Wow, what a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How is it it's only a few years that you've been living like that, Alan?
You know what? Because I was an arrogant ass. That's why. Oh. Because I thought I judged myself good. Anybody else out there judging themselves good? That's still a judgment, isn't it? I thought, well, I'm Roy Master's son. I'm a good guy. But I was wrong. I was arrogant. I was godless. I thought I had a relationship with God, but no, I kind of allowed God to be around me. You know what I mean? It's an arrogance. And I think sadly, a lot of the religious people of the world, and this was the problem Jesus had with the Jews in the synagogues. You can't talk to God unless you go through me, said the synagogues back in the day. You know what? I needed to have that life and death experience that Gary had, that a lot of people had, to wake up and say, I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry. I've been arrogant. I'm prideful. I'm sorry. And you know what? What a life-changing experience. Thank God that I had this problem. Gary, there's an old story about these people were out in the ocean, and it was stormy and the waves were big and they were praying and they were saying, why, God? Why do we have to have this huge storm? Why? And God's answer was, because your enemy can't swim. So even though you think you're going through a horrible time in your life, God has put you where it's safe. Your enemies can't get you. So these storms in our lives aren't bad. Yes, they seem a little stressful, but if you have faith and you know God has got your back, He's really got your back, then you just say, okay, I'm going to endure this test, God. Thank you for this test. And instead of being angry at God.
And one of the things that happens after a storm is the seas calm, the clouds part, and the sun shines again.
Right.
That's right.
That's
Wow.
That's amazing.
Without God, what do you got? I just don't understand people that go through life. But you know what? We have to walk blindly or in the hypnotic state from whatever's been downloaded into us by our families and culture and all the rest until one day we have a near-death experience or an aha moment, as my dad calls it, and we wake up and we just start giving praise to our Creator and live in gratitude every step of your life. I just don't get mad anymore. When I see myself getting mad, I go, wait, stop. No, not gonna.
Yes.
Amy is nodding her head, so is Shallow. Shallow, did you have an aha moment that you care to share with us?
A lot of times. And sometimes
Just one of them.
I have to remind
The most
myself.
memorable one.
The most memorable one.
Yeah.
Being in a customer industry, it's there's a lot of there's a lot of stress. But sometimes I remind myself. I said, Lord, anger is not from you. I'm gonna put to myself that I'm gonna keep positive, and I really fight for it. And I think everything is in your control. If you just always feed your brain saying, be nice to people and just be positive. And there's so many times that happened to me where the customer, I've been in the restaurant industry for 20 years and I started when I was 21. And many customers that I encountered, that they were so rude. And I just turned around. I was just being so nice to them and just took care of them, just like a family and friend. And you know what? They came back to me and they said, I'm so glad that I came to this restaurant because you know why? I feel so much love. I feel so much, I had a miserable day and now I feel so much better. So many people that came to me and be thankful. And for that, that's my ministry. And there's a reason for me to be in this industry is to give really good positive impact to people. And even just that way, I can make a difference to people. That makes me so fulfilled.
Not just the food with the love.
The food is the
That
lab,
she
exactly.
provide.
And you make sure that you have you just with all people, if you really just show them that you care and you love, because that's what really the Lord told us to do. Love your neighbor, or just just be nice to people, because that's one of the commandments of God. And I just apply that to yourself, and also what I really just remind me as well. That's really, since I was I was in my high school days, I was part of the music team at church, and I always just listen to music. Don Moyne is one of my favorite singer, and his music just inspired me. And one of them is, it says 1 Peter 5:7, where it says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And if there's some situation I know that it's so stressful, I just go to the Lord, I can do this. I can still be positive, and I know that I will do the right thing because you are guiding me. And that's always been since at the beginning.
Wow. Let's take our first phone call. Do you think I sound like I'm having a hard time talking?
Very dry.
But yeah.
You want
What's
some
that all
drink?
about? You
Yeah,
gave
gonna
me
give
some
you
wonderful.
more water.
I'll wait, but I'm going to try to salivate naturally. It's not working. So let's hear from Tony. Let's hear from Tony in Live Oak. Tony, you're on the air.
Hi, MZ. I suggest we start the program with one of your recorded things. Have you started the program already?
Recorded what things?
Well, I usually start the program with a promo kind of thing.
A promo kind of thing?
Well, with this lady that says hello, or whatever. Okay, I'll get off of that. I thought you didn't start the program yet, but maybe you had. I handled stress by blaming myself for any problem that I have. Since I was 40 years old, that was like 47 years ago. I just say, well, if I've got a problem, it must be my fault. And I go through that whole process. If it's not my fault, well, it takes me a while to figure it out. By that time, I'm de-stressed.
Okay, so that's how you deal with it.
But I also have a song for you.
Okay, go for it. I mean, do it.
It's calculated to stress out some Democrats that might be in the audience. And here it is.
Oh.
Okay. Are you ready?
You're going to make them hate us even more than they do.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Here it is. The melody is Paper Moon, right? Remember,
Okay.
you know Paper.
Yes, yes.
Our alleged president told his fake Justice Department to rally about 40 alleged FBI agents to get alleged evidence against alleged miscreants. And it's all just government make-believe and alleged common sense. What's that?
I like it. It's pretty much says it like it is. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
right. So our media do not, I'm getting feedback somehow, but they do not just use the word alleged anymore. They just say you're guilty.
Right. That's true.
They say alleged this, alleged that. Associated Press is one of the biggest fomenters of that.
Well, let's see if we can keep to the topic, Tony. I appreciate your call. Here's Krishna in Santa Cruz. Hi, Krishna. You're on KSCO. Krishna.
Hello.
Here you are.
Yes.
You're on. You're on. People are pulse-stoppingly awaiting what you have to say. What have you
Shall
to
I
say?
say, oh, that bastard is getting to me?
Yeah, say it.
Okay. No, I wanted to tell a gentleman there about his dad and how much I loved him. He was like snow when it's very hot, and hot when it's very cold. He was a welcome person in my life, and I just loved him. Most of all, this thing he used to point out, how the fight between men and women and how it can be solved by just having one captain. And I thought to myself, yes, you're absolutely right. Otherwise, you can't run the ship. But it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man, except he told me it matters a great deal if it's a man. And I loved him. He reminded me of my husband, and I swear I was almost falling in love with him, but I looked at my husband and I contained myself.
Oh, okay.
So I thank you. You're lucky to have had a dad like that, and he was just wonderful.
Alan, did you hear that?
I think that's beautiful. I hear it all the time. My dad was a blessing to all of us, and I was the benefactor of incredible amounts of wisdom that I did not use until I was about 60 years old. And, I feel guilty that I didn't use the wisdom that he was giving me throughout my life, but I recognize my dad also gave me the freedom of choice in my life to make sure that I chose from my heart and not because he commanded me to be a robot or a roy-bot. But thank you for that sweet compliment. Very sweet.
It is completely heartfelt, and I do miss him. And as far as God goes, I'm trying my very best to come to terms with the idea of God, but I feel foolish, and I said I feel sentimental about God. And I know it's not a very deep sense of being, sentimental, but it's like missing my grandmother. I really feel like that. All right, darling.
Yeah.
So you continue with your show. It's lovely. But I did love your
Yes,
father.
thank you. Yes, and we will continue with our lovely show. That was the lovely Krishna, whom we thank for calling 479-1080, which we hope some other humans will call and relate their stress and de-stress stories. Okay, right here on everybody's favorite radio station. KSCO 104.1 FM, 1080 AM, 95.5 FM, 107.9 FM, and KSCO.com worldwide, and the app also. Now, okay, do you think...
Michael?
Yes, sir.
Michael?
Yeah.
I have a stressful situation that happened to me just a few days ago. I'd like to tell the story because I think it's going to relate for a lot of people. We had a cute little dog that we've had for 15 years that my family loved. And this little dog was a Maltipoo, so part poodle, part Maltese, a little white fluffy dog. Smartest animal you ever saw in your life. This dog loved my wife, and my wife loved that dog and all my children. And I ran over it and killed it on Saturday. So talk about stress, people. Talk about stress. The dog was getting old and became deaf, and for whatever reason, I walked right under the back of my car as I was backing out, and I just felt a bump, and I was like, well, that's weird. What was that? And there was the poor little dog. And let me tell you, the stress, I saw it come at me like a baseball bat to the forehead. And I looked at it, and I thought, Charlie's dead. That was the dog's name. Because there's no way, I have a truck, and there's no way it could live. And he was just laying there, so he's dead. I said, and I just killed him. Stress, right to the forehead, an invisible stress right to my head. And I looked at it, and I said, no, because I didn't chase the dog down and run over it. I didn't commit murder. This was an accident. This was an accident. It was an act of God, maybe to allow the dog to go out quickly and gracefully because it was on a decline. And I called my wife. I said, Jan, where's Charlie? And she says, no, I said, Jan. And she says, where's Charlie is what she said to me. And I said, I just ran over him. And oh my gosh, the tears, the sadness. And she ran over and she picked him up. And there was nothing that could be done. Nothing. No blame could be, of course, the blame was to me at the moment. But my wife loves me, and she did not want to blame me. So I said, I'm sorry. The dog is done. And she was crying and all the rest. And I had to look at the stress. I had to look at my relationship with the dog. I had to look at the relationship with my wife. What's life going to be like now? I've killed her dog. And, oh, my gosh, the stress. But I just kept saying no, because there's nothing you can do. Some things there's nothing you can do about it. Or you can blame yourself, judge yourself, hate yourself. But what good comes from hating yourself? That is the beginning of death for you, because your soul starts to die. That is where disease begins, when you hate yourself for making a mistake. Life is full of mistakes. I can't imagine running over a child. I know people that have run over their own children and killed them. Imagine that. So I had to watch this stress try and take me over, to try and overtake me all day and night. And into the next day, I was watching it like it was a criminal hiding behind things. I knew it was there, and I did not want it to enter into me. It did not have permission to come into me. I deny access. Evil, you are trespassing. Get away. Get off my property. Leave me alone. And I kept giving it up to God. God, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't do it on purpose. And every time God was like, what? Why are you coming to me with this? You're not guilty. So I would just look and I say, I know you're out there, evil. And I just had to become aware and conscious of the evil that was trying to get me. It was an accident, an honest accident. Is there such a thing? Yes, there are honest accidents. There are also dishonest accidents when you do things kind of knowing you shouldn't be where you are, and then you're like, oh, dang it, you know. But I looked at this stress and I said, you know what, God, you're going to put me through all kinds of trials and tribulations. Thank you, because I need to be closer to you. What are we willing to give up to be closer to God? You have to be willing to give up even the animals that you love and the things that you love. And you can't be angry at God. You can't be angry at yourself. All of this stuff that we have in our lives is temporary. But you know what is not temporary? You know what is forever? God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I want to be with him. I don't want to be with this stuff that I have. Not even my animals, not even my friends. I mean, it's all temporary. I want my soul to go where God wants my soul, next to him. So there you go. It's a stressful moment. I had to deal with it.
And you did. 479-1080, area 831, or mz@ksco.com if you want to email your contribution to the radio program. We'd love to hear from you on the phone now. Billy, with a Watsonville exchange, is next up. Billy, you're on the air.
MZ.
Hey.
Hey, I relieve stress by going on a panty raid.
Oh.
And Billy would say, God bless that guy's pet.
Oh.
And I love my own too, he would say also.
Okay.
So you know, that's joking, but you know.
Oh, thank God you were joking. I didn't know how to take that. But
well, it's a thought that was within limits and then out of limits, and so that word came up. So I just thought I'd fill in on it. The bees.
Right.
So it was.
Okay. Well,
I
thank
was at
you.
the airport yesterday. So
Thank you for calling, Billy. You sound remarkably like someone named Nick. But Lynn in Felton is up next. Lynn, you're on.
Hi, MZ. Well, I'm a person that's not good at dealing with stress. And I just wanted to ask maybe Gary for some help with the situation that makes my blood boil, and it's probably happens to a lot of people, but it's rude, reckless drivers on the road, on the freeways, and how to deal with, you know, somebody who's tailgating me so closely I can't even see their headlights, or, you know, you drive Highway 17 and people are treating it like it's a racetrack, and that stresses me out. So I thought I'd get some advice maybe on how to deal with those kinds of situations.
Well, this is Gary, and I can tell you that what I do when that happens to me is I take the next exit and park for a few minutes and let that person that was stressing you out go on about their business, give them 5 minutes to go ahead of you, and then come back on the freeway. And you'll be a lot calmer if you do that.
Well, what if it's just not possible to do that? For example, driving back and forth over Highway 17 multiple times a week, you know, it's not like driving 280, you know, where there's lots of exits.
Yeah.
And people can be so unbelievably rude. It just blows my mind.
Well, that's true. It can happen, and 17's not the best place to try and pull off. Have you ever thought about taking a different route?
Well, there's Highway 9. That's really not much better. Or Bear Creek Road, you know, coming from, you know, the San Lorenzo Valley and going over to, you know, Silicon Valley, basically, San Jose, Sunnyvale. You know, I mean, I try to not let them bother me and just, you know, let them go around me, basically. But it just...
But how about just psyching yourself into saying no? No, just say no to stress.
Yeah, I think that's a lot easier said than done.
Well, yeah, but if you
know,
just
when
do
it's-
it, if you just do it, that's what I did years ago. Now, here it is. I'm pontificating and giving advice myself. When I will say about 30 years ago, I don't know what happened when I guess Nancy Reagan did a public service thing saying say no to drugs.
Yes.
And about that same time, I was stressed for some reason. I decided to say no to stress, and I was very successful at it. And I don't know what happened. I need to sort of remaster that saying no to stress attitude.
Have you
right?
tried? Have you tried driving 17 at different times so that the traffic is not as heavy for you when these things are happening?
Yeah, I mean, usually I can drive it when there's not, the crush, the big rush hour types of traffic. I can go over at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So there's, not this big rush hour. I'm not really driving in rush hour traffic, which maybe actually that makes it worse because people then do have the opportunity to, just treat it like a racetrack.
Wow.
And,
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people experience that, but MZ, I was just wondering, so what was the situation that was stressing you out that you just said no to? Can you
You know what?
give me an
I honestly
example?
forgot. I'm going to try to remember during the rest of the program here, and if I do, yeah, that's the kind of thing you sort of want to put out of your mind, and I think I successfully did that. What a horrible answer. What a horrible answer, because it doesn't do anybody any good just to say no to stress. Well, how did you say no to? What stress did you say no to? Well, I honestly can't remember because I put it
Not
out of my
anymore.
brain.
I don't think he say no.
Yeah, you don't think I say no, right?
No.
Somehow I lost
You're
my
very
way.
stressful, yeah. I think you probably lost. Listen to Cheryl and Gary. It's a purpose. What the God give you the purpose. If you lost that, that's it.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm
why they're
thinking
dealing
that-
with the stress.
Yeah.
That's a
Wow.
pass.
I'm thinking that maybe the purpose is that God is trying to teach me patience.
Yes.
That's
Because
exactly.
I think I'm
is-
not a very patient person,
Yeah.
but it's so repetitive. It's just kind of this day after day after
Yeah.
day meeting this stressful situation that sometimes I'm just not good at.
And you have to go,
okay.
do you commute over Highway 17 every day?
Not every day, no. I only have to do it like maybe 3 days a week.
And don't you think that with technology evolving, that you're not going to have to do it at all at one of these points without having to retire? Don't you think that's true? And that's a good
Make
way to say
telecommute.
Yeah, telecommute, exactly, Amy. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a bookkeeper / accounting manager, and I pretty much have to be on site to do my work. But, I mean, my hope is that actually I'm 64 now. I'm going to be turning 65 pretty soon. So
Well, congratulations.
my hope is that, yeah, exactly, that I can retire, in a couple more years, and then I won't have to do that. And I'm hoping that means that a lot of stress is going
Right.
to be leaving my
Can you
life.
drive,
So-
listen to the music?
Yeah.
This for me is a long
Exactly.
drive. I like to calm myself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I would do.
It feels good for
yeah,
me.
actually, if I feel in that sort of situation, I would just turn on the music
Yeah.
and Christian music and just sing, and it reminds you
Yeah.
to be calm and just not be
Yeah.
stressed.
Yeah,
I
that's
always
good.
do that. That's actually, yes, music
Yeah.
is really help you.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Rap music?
Anything make you happy or
Anything
calm,
makes you happy.
calm.
Exactly.
Yeah, just disregard the people bothering, things bothering.
Totally agree with you.
I'd like
And-
to tell a story for you to just keep in mind, because I have some young friends who moved up from the Fresno area to the San Jose area for work. And one of the things I said to these young people is, you're going to be experiencing different driving patterns when you go from a city like Fresno to the San Jose area, find out where you're going to work and then draw a circle around that building and make sure that you live 10 minutes away from that building. Because when you're in heavy traffic, like it sounds like you are from going from your home to work, that's where the stress comes from. But if you were only 10 minutes away from your home driving to work, wouldn't that make a big difference for you?
Oh, it'd make a huge difference.
Would that be impossible to do? Is move
Great question.
close to work?
At this point in time, with the housing market the way it is, it would be impossible. I mean, we can't afford to buy a different house.
Yeah, that's that. Well, but the market is changing. They
Oh,
say.
yes.
And also, there's only going to be 2 years left, and then you're going to retire. So for now, just turn on your music and sing, and just don't mind all those road drivers.
Right.
Yeah. Shallow wants you to stay calm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Lynn, all the best to you, and thanks for calling
Thank you, Lynn.
479-1080. Alan is back. I don't know why how or why we lost him, but you're back now.
I was smiling so big, my big fat cheeks hung up the phone by accident. But I would like to add one thing. I know you have to go back here. I beg to differ on the music because I recognize that I don't want to calm the beast. Music calms the beast. I don't want the beast. So what I do is I just get quiet, and if I have to pull over to the side of the road and meditate for a couple of minutes and just look at this thing that is inside of me that is trying to antagonize me and stress me out, and I go, that's not me. That's that liar again, and the liar is lying. That's what he's supposed to do, the deceiver, the devil. He's lying. I don't believe you. I'm going to give it up to God. And guess what? In that same moment, it just lifts off of me, and I can continue on. I just don't believe the liar. But I don't want to calm the beast. I just don't want the beast in me at all. So that's my thoughts on that. I used to listen to a lot of music too, and I drove all the way from Oregon up here, you guys, 8 hours, never even turned the radio on. Beautiful.
Oh. Yeah, I know. The people are trying to get my attention to let me know that the news alligator, is going to get us here momentarily.
Thank you for having me, Michael. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I've got to run now.
Okay, there you go, Alan Masters. You have a great time at Concord Elegance, okay? Very good.
God bless y'all.
Ditto. Yeah, there goes Alan himself. And Steve in Monterey, Diana in La Selva, Dan in Monterey, Glenn in La Selva Beach. Stay with us.
From Coyote down to San Martin, we're seeing a few slowdowns, possibly 5 minutes more. Then once you pass Gilroy in the southbound lane, there's going to be more slowdowns until you get to San Juan Bautista, which is showing an 18-minute delay. And if you're heading out to Hollister, Highway 156 westbound is showing a 12-minute delay. After San Juan Bautista, we're seeing another slowdown if you're in the southbound lane, heading towards Prunedale. And from there down to King City, it is near or at the limit. On Highway 68, there is a slowdown of 19 minutes in the westbound lane of Highway 68 in the San Benicio area. Current temperature outside the KSCO studio is 62 degrees today. We'll have patchy fog before 10 a.m. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, becoming sunny, high near 72 tonight. Patchy fog after 8 p.m., low of 55 tomorrow. Patchy fog in the morning, becoming gradually sunny, high near 72 Wednesday night. Partly cloudy, low of 55, and Monday through Friday look like they're going to be mostly sunny and in the 70s. On the seas right now, northwest winds 15 to 25 knots with gusts up to 35 knots. Wind waves 8 to 9 feet, patchy fog in the morning. KSCO news time is 11:07, and we bring you back to the Saturday special with your host, MZ.
David Pendleton.
Yes.
Are you ready for me to hit the hour two?
Hour
Well,
two.
you know, there's something here. It says 099patio2.mp3.
That is the announcement we had going out during the week.
Oh.
If you wanted to play that, I put it up there.
Okay,
so in case you
okay.
wanted
Thank you. Might as well do that before we start hour number 2.
Sounds
It's
good.
only 2 minutes long, and it just gives people an update if they haven't heard it already. So this is me talking about giving an update of our patio situation. How come I don't?
Owner Michael Zwerling.
Here it is. Last week, we ran a 3-minute message concerning a dispute KSCO is having with the Santa Cruz County Planning Department. The county government has ordered KSCO to demolish and haul away a significant portion of protective concrete around its building. I do not believe this is reasonable and will most likely be harmful to the lagoon environment. I have reached out to our 1st District Supervisor, Manu Koenig, for help. Though very sympathetic and understanding of our problem, thus far he has been unable to see a path forward to help us. I believe the best path forward is for the supervisors to vote on granting KSCO a waiver or exception to the riparian rule so that a beautiful community asset and the environment can be spared from destruction and harm. Here's what you can do if you want to help. Call the County Board of Supervisors at 831-454-2200. That's 831-454-2200 and show your support. Also, you can email all 5 supervisors at the single email address, Board of Supervisors, all one word, Board of Supervisors at santacruzcounty.us. That's Board of Supervisors at santacruzcounty.us. Email addresses for individual supervisors are listed on the home page of our KSCO.com website. Also, if you really want to help, attend a supervisors meeting, either virtually or at the supervisors meeting room, 5th floor Government Center, and speak at the beginning of the meeting during the public comments agenda item. The next supervisors meeting will be Tuesday, August 23rd at 9 a.m. As always, thank you for supporting KSCO. With your help, we hope to be able to continue our service to you.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
Okay, we're entering hour number 2 of the KSCO De-Stress Saturday De-Stress Special. I gotta get it right. Anyhow, we have some callers and we'll have some more.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
And we are lucky to have with us in the studio today a regular advertiser on KSCO and sponsor of the Saturday Special over the last 3 or 4 weeks or so, and that would be what's wrong with my brain? I started, Chielo from Ella's at the airport. Ella's at Watsonville Airport, where you had a really sad thing happen. Not at the airport, but not at your restaurant. Yeah. Do they know the identities of the people? Has it been announced? I should turn on your mic here.
Yeah, it was really sad. What happened? It was a little far from the restaurant, but still, there's some few customers that were able to really see what happened. It was a sad day, and even me, when I got home, it really still affected me until the next day. We prayed, and that's all we could do. We prayed for the family and friends that their heart will be strengthened during these really bad incident. And I had no specific. There's some few actually a TV station that came there yesterday and asked me if they have some information, but I don't really have that much information. What I heard, there were 3 people, 2 on the big plane and 1 on the 152 plane, and there's a dog. There was a dog as well, and it was just heartbreaking. And we don't know the names. And what I heard from the employees, that a couple of them were locals, but we don't know the names yet.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad, but
it's very sad.
In any case, so we thank you for supporting the KSCO Saturday Special.
You are welcome.
And we also have another restaurant sponsoring the Saturday special, and that would be Casa Rosita's, which is right down the street from KSCO. It's a wonderful Mexican food place that's absolutely delicious. Why are you laughing, Amy?
What you say in Mexican?
Oh, Mexican. Yeah. I have funny words for everything. Like I never say animals. I always say aminals. And when I never say Mexican, I say Mexican. I'm just a weird sort of dude that has these little strange habits. But in any case, the Mexican food at Casa Rosita's at the corner of 26th and Portola is excellent. And what did we have there the other day?
I had a fish fillet.
We had fillet fish al mojo de ajo. Yeah, with pieces of garlic.
Yeah.
You still smell.
Yeah, couple of days.
Yeah, and so do I.
Because it's both with.
Yeah, and and I'm sure I've just explained the strange odor coming out of people's radios, because people are wondering what is that smell in here? Well, it was really strong garlic, but it was really good, garlic shrimp. Garlic shrimp. And garlic, what was the other thing?
Fish.
Oh, yeah, right. See. Anyhow, Casa Rosita's, corner of 26th and Portola, here in Santa Cruz, just down the street. We have Shallow, we have Gary, we have Amy, and we have poor old beleaguered MZ here in the studio. And some people got tired of waiting, so they left. But if you want to call for, there was a point where we had all of the lines jammed, but now we only have two, and Diana in La Selva is the next person who will be on. Diana, welcome to the Saturday special.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to add to the last woman one other suggestion, and audiobooks and podcasts that would, maybe that would help her. If she's still listening, maybe that would help her calm down. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you for saying. Who has a reaction? Do you, Shallow?
That is actually a really good idea. There's a lot that you can download to podcast. There's so many good things about podcasts also. It's distress, and that would definitely help. Anything that is encouraging words that will just positive to your thinking, I think that will totally help.
Well, there you have it.
That's a good idea.
Did you get that, Diana? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Thanks for calling,
Okay,
479-1080. If you want to email, it's mz@ksco.com. Steve, the John Lennon guy, you're on the air on KSCO.
Well, I should be the world's expert on stress management because I haven't killed a crowd of people with an M16, and I haven't killed myself, and all kinds of things the FBI wished that I would do.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. As a matter of fact, I lost about 30 discs the other day and a pair of sunglasses because of the stress of going to court lately. And I want people to realize that the reason I sing from my van with billboards and whatnot is partly to relieve the stress I've been under since my mother died, and I inherited about $100,000, and it's almost all gone now, mostly from my teeth getting fixed. But when Santa Cruz was getting blitzkrieged by lightning and fires, the local law enforcement was hammering me in the Santa Cruz courts at the very same time. And I literally even told the court that I think they're trying to kill me with stress now that COVID's in the air, and I want to make that a point. The other day in court, I was the judge denied that he knew that I was the John Lennon man, yet he admitted that I was making allegations against Panetta and Chief Holber of the police who are behind all this. So they were mentioned in the same breath, my Lennon status and the Panettas and the Holbers. So the judge is lying that he doesn't know who I am. I'm still in the process of trying to get him disqualified. But people, I want to tell you, if you think Martin Luther King had a rough time with law enforcement, I've been through 10 times worse than Martin Luther King went through with the police, okay? and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs while I'm singing from my van For My Life, and you don't care that Stephen King killed John Lennon? Do you know what kind of stress you're putting me through with your cowardliness, people? Would you get over your cowardliness and help me, please?
Okay.
My life is on the line, and you're sitting there ignoring John Lennon murder evidence. God.
Okay, Steve, thank you. Dan in Pacific Grove, your turn.
Hello, Jim, everybody. So, yeah, regarding just a few comments for the very nice lady who was talking about the tailgater, aggressive drivers, in this case, tailgating Highway 17. So, I started driving freeways when I was 15 and a half, and I just turned 70. So, in any case, attitude I've developed and I would recommend is, well, if one is in the left lane, the fast lane, and somebody comes up maybe even unreasonably fast and tailgating, just move to the right. Get out of their way, whatever's going on.
That's what I do.
Somebody acting like this, I think the first thing I would do is take a deep breath and recognize if you're just driving in a normal fashion, whatever their problem is, it's not yours. And it's not about you. Mm-hmm. You probably don't even know them. And the goal is to disengage. You just want them to go away. And don't let it. One of the most dangerous things to do is to buy into this anger. So you don't want to you really don't want to take it personally. How can it be personal? They don't even know you.
Exactly.
And
it's
if you become angry, you have upped the danger scale a lot.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you don't want 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. You don't want to be playing games. You don't want to get even. Just want to disengage. And if necessary, take the next off-ramp, but I wouldn't, if they drop in behind you, I wouldn't stop until I was at a gas station, someplace with other people around.
You know, I have a question for Gary, Cheryl, and also the caller, everybody. It's just you treat the stress is your own demon. You treat it as your own demon. You had to fight, or something from outside to bothering you.
Yeah, and what in this case, what exactly are you fighting over? Whatever's going on with that person, driving them to this aberrant behavior, it's their problem, and you really don't want any part of it, and you don't want them to be your problem. And if you're in the right lane, the slow lane, somebody just is really moving in and tailgating, you know they're not a skilled driver, right? Mm-hmm. and if you just maintain your speed and just do what you're doing. In every single case that's happened to me, eventually they got frustrated and passed, which is what they should have done in the first place. But there's been many times where I've been stuck behind somebody and they're in the fast lane and they think they're a cop, so they think, well, I'm not going over the speed limit, instead of just moving over. Well, and maybe I can't pass them on the right because there's too much traffic and I have to wait for 10 miles. Well, I'm not going to tailgate them. That's just the way it is. So allowing enough time for your trip, and then more so. For me, for anybody, that can be a big source of stress. If you find you're running late.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You allow enough time, so a lot of things, particularly going from Monterey to San Jose or San Francisco, a lot of possibilities there for things to slow you down. So allowing enough time and recognizing somebody else's aberrant behavior.
Right.
It's not about
Dan,
you.
this is a great call, and I would like all the calls to be like this. I'll just put it out. 479-1080 in area 831. Yeah, thank you, Dan. I'd like to hear from people who are willing to share their stress stories and how they dealt with it. That can be very valuable, and that's what I want this show to be of value to as many people as possible, to show them how to deal with or say no to stress. 831-479-1080 is the phone number to become part of this program, with Shallow, Gary, Amy, and me. Or you can email mz@ksco.com. I think we have an email or two. Here's one from David himself. Okay. Let's take our next call here. That would be James in La Selva. Hi, James in La Selva.
Hello, and thank you for taking my call. I just called in. I wasn't sure what you guys were going to be talking about today, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be China, but I am versatile. It's up to you. I was also a little curious about how things are going with the county and the planning department.
There's nothing new. A lot of people heard the the message that was played not this last week, but the week before that. And they said, we're sympathetic, but what can we do? You didn't tell us what we can do to help. So I made this other promo, this updated promo that we played at the beginning of this hour, and that basically gives people the Board of Supervisors email address. It's Board of Supervisors at santacruzcounty.us. And if you send an email to that address, it's my understanding, all supervisors, each of the individual supervisors will receive that. You can also go and speak before them during the public comment. The next supervisors meeting that's public and not behind closed doors or not electronic is this coming Tuesday. Whatever the day is here, the 28, 20, 21, 22, 23, the 23rd. So anyhow, there's nothing new on that front. Hopefully, the supervisors will deem it important enough to make it to just take it up, and if they don't, they don't, and then I'll have a decision to make. So anyhow,
part of my interest in is because I have my own issues with the county, and I've dealt with this a number of times. The building department up in the mountains, and I have a pretty good idea what you're up against, and I wish I was more optimistic for you and I. And I'd like to organize some kind of way to fight this.
Do you want to give out your phone number or email address?
Yeah, I'll give out my email address.
Okay, go ahead, James.
JB Dubify, DUBIFY. So it's JB Dubify at gmail.com.
Okay. One more time, just spell it out letter by letter. JB.
Thank you.
What is it?
DUBIFY at gmail.com.
Okay. Great. Very good. All righty. Well, thank you for calling 479-1080. We got a number of other callers we want to get to, including Alec in Santa Cruz. Is this our Alec?
Yeah, it is.
Hey
Mike, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, how are things going?
Okay.
Anyway, nice. Anyway, I just wanted to comment on the topic you guys were speaking of earlier. Highway 17 has always been dangerous, and in the times that I've driven out of town, last week I recently just drove to Wisconsin and back.
Wow.
And of that entire trip, it's been similar on previous trips I've experienced, where the most dangerous part of that drive is Highway 17. Basically, I don't know what we could do other than some of the points that your previous callers, such as Dan, was saying was just to disengage, but there's definitely moments that you're caught in a situation that could easily become an accident. So all I could say is, keep your hands on the wheel and try not to crash into the center divider. And if you want some ways to relieve stress. The only thing that I found personally is to play like an instrument or have something that you're already really interested in, but I know there isn't an easy fix for something like that. Since the highway was built so long ago, it's really narrow and just kind of lends itself to accidents. But thanks for taking my call.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Alec. Have a good one. Next caller will be Leah in SoCal. Leah, you're on KSCO.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, great. Yeah, for de-stress, I think maturity helps a lot, so it's kind of hard if you're young to figure it out. But I found knowing my limits. I'm in education, and I found that teaching in the public school is far too demanding, and I decided to X that out and not stress myself out to do that anymore. And I teach at a private preschool, and I don't make as much money as I could in public school, but I let that go and just relaxed in the fact that I know my routine and I can get joy out of my job because of what I'm doing instead of what I'm making. I think that helps a lot, just knowing your limit. You know, if something's stressing you out, you can feel it in your physical body. It makes you sick. It gives you back problems like you had. And so just trying to eliminate things that you know that you're not going to be able to tackle and letting it go. That's what helps me.
Well, that sounds like excellent advice to me. And thank you for offering it on KSCO.
Thank you.
Okay. Darren in Marina, you're on KSCO on the Saturday special.
Yeah, you want to knock the blood pressure down, take a real hot bath. That'll knock it down. Yeah, it sounds like 17's pretty bad anymore. I remember riding with 4 guys that weighed over 200 pounds in my 1960 Corvair back 30 years ago, and that was scary. Now it sounds really bad. It sounds like the Autobahn over in Europe. You know, hey, good words, you know, they cost nothing, and this show allows for it. That's what I like. You guys come out with a good program today. Good words, like I say, cost nothing. And if you like words, MZ, aluminum's my favorite, because if you turn it around backwards, it says Muni Mula, and I do a lot of recycling. You guys have a good day.
Okay, yeah, Darren is the fastest talking caller that we have, and it's impossible to fall asleep or be bored when Darren is on the air.
He should be a talk show host.
He should be a talk show host.
I don't see anybody talk that fast. I can keep up with it.
Right. Okay. Now we're going to go to. No one could possibly nod off when he's on, unless they happen to have nodded off before he got on. Or there's that possibility. Jeff and Salinas, it's your turn.
Hello, Michael.
Hey.
Thanks for taking my call. Hey, Michael, I'm the long-haul truck driver. I drive upwards of 4,000 miles a week all across this country, and I'm on my home time right now. I'm at my parents' house between Salinas and Monterey here. And 2 days ago, I drove over 17 to the Mountain Winery to see a music show.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. But I drove Highway 17 just to, put into context for your listeners. Highway 17 is a terrible place to drive.
Yes, it is.
I drive all over the East Coast, and there's nothing. There's a lot of windy stuff that's on the East Coast, but nothing like Highway 17.
I picked up a friend at San Jose Airport a few years back, and he got into the car, and I was driving him over to this radio station for the very first time. And driving over Highway 17, which was the best route to take, save an hour through any other way. He turned so green that as soon as we got out in the parking lot at KSCO, he threw up. He flashed over everything.
Never
all over
back,
the outside. Yeah.
So I don't know why people complaining. They say the local people drive very fast. We have a visit last week, and they had to practice how to drive in 17. And I saw they
Yeah.
coming. They say the local just push them. Just they had to drive fast, fast, fast. Is that because local? You are local, Michael. You are native son.
Well, I drive like an old man.
Yeah.
Even if I'm driving 70 on
Right.
which I don't do very often, but I've been known to just, especially when I'm
Right.
grooving to a song that I'm listening to, I'm not realizing on a straightaway or something that I'm driving faster than the speed limit. But there are always people, if you drove 70 or 75 or something, that they're going to tailgate you and they're going to push you and they're going to flip you off as they pass you. There's just a bunch of people like that.
Yeah, that's going to be a factor anyway, but it just get in your right lane and do the speed limit or under the speed limit, and those people will get around you. It's going to be a benefit for you to let those people get around.
Absolutely. Instead of getting mad, which I rarely do, but I do sometimes.
Yeah.
And when I
Another
just
thing
can't be in control, and that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Another thing to do, like in the first part of your program, is just pray before you leave, before you roll that first foot in your car to start your journey. Say a prayer, and just have everything in your car ready, so you're not grabbing to your phone. Leave your phone alone and just get to where you need to go and relax. I don't think there's anybody that lives in Santa Cruz that doesn't have a horror story that they can share at some point in their life. 17 is just that. It's just that bad. I don't think it's going to get any better. But just everybody try to slow down and relax, and you'll get to where you're going. Just maintain your focus on your destination.
Okay.
And,
Thank you,
just
Salinas
drive-
Jeff, and continue to be safe in your truck travels.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Take care. Here's Sue and Ben Lomond.
So I see on social media a lot of people complaining because people are going too slow in front of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like somebody in front of me is going too slow. And so I start to think, why are all the reasons they might be going too slow? Maybe they're a brand new driver. Maybe they just got a ticket yesterday. Maybe they're older. Maybe they don't know their way around the area. Like so many reasons why sometimes I might be going slower. I'm not a new driver, but, I'm a little bit older. I might not know my way in the area. Any number of reasons, and to just try to think about that. Why?
There are more stresses that present themselves every day.
Yeah.
Someone might be struggling with their gender or transgenderism or something like that. The more you hear about things that are sort of new phenomena, the more excuses you have to let yourself get stressed if you are so prone.
And the other thing, if just say you're stuck in traffic somewhere and you're getting all weaked out because you're stuck in traffic. Unless you're at a dead standstill because the road's blocked or something, but sometimes it's just going slower than you want to go. I have adopted what I call the Oregon Trail mindset, and this is from the computer game way back in the 90s.
I remember that.
Yeah, so then you could go at a slow pace, which you would if members of your party were ill or your animals were tired, so you'd go at a slow pace, which I don't know. And if you went at a normal pace, you averaged about 10 miles per day. If you went at a grueling pace, you managed 20 miles per day, but you might kill your animals on the way. So I figure, even if I'm only going 20 miles per hour, from my house in Ben Lomond to my job in Santa Cruz is less than 20 miles. So if I average 20 miles an hour, I'm going to get there in an hour, and it's probably not going to take me that long, even in slow traffic. And, you're going to get there when you're going to get there.
Exactly.
And to just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. You can't go faster than the car in front of you. And my driver's ed teacher, way back when they had driver's ed in high school, the best piece of advice that I still go back to is don't let the guy behind you drive your car.
What a brilliant thing to say.
Right?
Yeah, that says it all. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Or the gal behind you.
Right, the
It's
person.
it's
Don't let
usually
the
a
person
guy.
behind
It's usually a guy, but not always.
Right.
Okay,
But don't let
Sue.
the person behind you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for adding to the Saturday De-Stress special. Leroy in Gilroy. Or is it Gilroy in Leroy?
In Leroy.
Leroy and Gilroy, you're on the air.
Good rhyme.
Hi, kids.
Hello.
I just turned 13 years old, and I'm starting to go through poverty. I brought my humor with me, and the salient aspect of what I'm going to present is to help everybody with their stress. I teach my children that they can solve any problem, any conflict with one question. And if you really get honest with yourself, you can solve any big problem, any conflict with this one question. And that question is this: what's really important here? And if you look in the mirror and get honest with yourself, you find out you solve any problem right now. What's really important here? Now, there's two aspects of what I've learned in life about fear and anger. It makes people do one of two things. It makes people do things they normally wouldn't do, or it holds people back from doing the things they ought to. Those are really important. It does two things. It makes people do things they normally wouldn't do, or it holds people back from doing the things they ought to. So think about that. Who's in control of you in your life? Is it the fear and anger in control of your life, or are you in charge of your life? And what I've learned is laugh, have humor in your life. Nothing's that important. Nothing's that serious. So is your life going to be with fear and anger controlling you? And when you get out there on the highway, laugh at life. You're going to get there anyway, whether you go fast or slow. And that's the end of my advice. Thank you so much.
Now, wait a minute, Leroy and Gilroy. Have you called here before?
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, my God. Well, maybe, have you called this show?
I believe I have.
Oh, my God. My dementia is worse than I thought it was. God, and I thought it was pretty bad. Anyhow, Leroy and Gilroy, you're a great caller. Thank you for adding immeasurably to this Saturday special.
Yeah, put humor in your life and laugh at
That's
it.
very good, very good.
Now you're talking.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Yes.
We're going to try to do.
Let's laugh.
Should we tell some jokes for
Yes,
the next 20 minutes?
Yes, I think that would be fun.
Okay, that'll good. So Derry in Aptos, I think, is going to be. No, that's not right. Stephen Carmel. Okay, Gilroy Leroy. Thank you for calling
Thank you,
KSCO.
Leroy.
Here's Stephen Carmel.
Yes, hi there. I drove over 17 yesterday, and there's something in the driver's manual. I don't know if you've mentioned it because I haven't been listening for that long, just about 10 minutes now. And it says if you want to drive slower, you should get into the right lane and turn your emergency flashers on.
That makes sense.
I thought that was illegal, though.
No, it's not illegal. In fact, it's suggested. That's why I'm calling. And also, I've had several people tell me that that doing that maneuver, turning your emergency flashers on, when this is a slightly different situation. It's like when you're coming up on the freeway and all of a sudden you see cars are stopping. Turn your emergency flashers on. As soon as you see that, that'll alert the people behind you that may not be paying attention.
Yeah.
Not to rear end.
Could avert a pileup. Huh?
Rear end job. I've had a couple people tell me that thing that I told them and they used it saved them from getting rear-ended.
No.
So no, it's not true. That you can't drive with your emergency flashers on.
Wow.
It's suggested.
Okay.
Great. Get rid of it, tailgating.
Yeah.
Well, someone might, someone might think that your car's having trouble, and when you're really over there to drive slower and be less stressed, and they may think that too. So that would benefit you also.
You will get tickets.
What's that?
You will get ticket if you're not emergency, actually. Maybe
Oh,
car will stop you.
No, you won't get stopped for driving. I've done it quite a bit. You don't get stopped. It's in the driver's manual to pull over to the right lane and turn your emergency flashers on if you want to drive slower than the speed limit or whatever cars or speed they're going.
All right. Steve, thanks for adding to this Saturday special, as the others have done. Appreciate it. Here's our next caller, Derry in Aptos.
Yes. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Tell your listeners to get on Safe on 17, and it's from the Santa Clara County Fire Department. There's several links on there, and it's also on YouTube. And it's good to watch every now and then just to remind you when you are driving 17.
And the actual web address, again, is?
Well, it's...
Safe on 17, I think you said.
Safe on 17 on YouTube. Santa Clara County Fire Department, Distracted Driving on YouTube. And then you can go on these other links, www. Santa Clara County Fire Department, sccfd.org. And I'm not promoting my son-in-law, but he's a firefighter at Redwood Estates, and he sees a lot of stuff, let me tell you.
I'll bet. Okay.
So it's good to see anyway.
Yeah, thank you for calling 479-1080, Derry and Aptos. Here's Ed in Los Gatos, also known as Las Gaddies. Huh?
How are you, Michael?
Okay, yeah, thank you for calling. What words of wisdom have you for us today, Ed?
Well, I loved Leroy and Gilroy, or Gilroy Leroy, and his comment regarding anger and fear. Anger and fear do drive a lot of people's perspective. But there's another one, and I love his perspective on laughter. We have to joke at ourselves and laugh at life, otherwise we're just not enjoying it. But the other addition that I want to give you is there's also courage. Courage to stand up for your principles, courage to say, that's not okay, and that's enough, stop. Courage to be who you are as an individual and who we are as a society and as a culture. And I think that fear and anger, because of the way the media purports it in our life with everything that we're intaking through the eye gate and the ear gate, I think that those have predominance over our perspective when actually, because we're all made in God's image, we should all be boldly courageous because what do we have to fear and what do we have to be angry about when all of the provisions of life are given to us and all of the abundance of life is given to us every day?
Now, who can argue with that? I can't.
Well, I love you, Michael, and if anybody has your form of dementia, I applaud it because you're very healthy and you're doing well, and I love your tongue-in-cheek about your health and wellness.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Michael.
But now I'm getting very, very nervous because there are no callers. And at talk show host school, they tell you never, ever, ever beg for callers. And one way of begging for callers is to admit to everybody that there's not a single damn caller. But I'm not going to beg for callers. I'm just going to say, it's your loss.
What are all those?
No, see, look at all the
What?
phone line lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, or a Hanukkah bush.
Hanukkah bush, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gary, let's do a promo for your TV show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Gary.
All right.
Now you're not going to be Gary Cocola. You're going to be Gary Morris.
Gary Morris on the radio. You know how that started, right?
I sort of remember, but you'll tell the story better than I.
So when I was at Fort Ord many years ago, I had a job at KMBY down on Cannery Row as a disc jockey, and I was Gary Morris on the radio. So I decided, now that I was going to come back after my COVID and do something for fun, I would be Gary Morris once again on television. And so now every Sunday night from 6 to 9 p.m., we are on KMBY TV, channel 19.4, over the air with an antenna, or streaming live on the internet at kmbytv.com. And we do a music and talk show. Music with music videos that my sister Marlene picks out, as she did for me many, many, many years ago. She's the She's the music director of the videos that we play. And then we have a female co-host. Shallow was one of my female co-hosts a few weeks back. And then we have one guest live in the studio per hour, one at 6:15, 7:15, and 8:15. And you, MZ, were one of my guests on the TV show.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
It's
now,
a
here's
fun
a question. It's KMBYTV.
KMBYTV.com.
Okay, so that's when you can tune in and watch the live stream if you don't happen to have an antenna connected to your TV.
Yeah, you can watch it on your phone.
But can you, you're archiving these too, presumably at the same place.
Yeah, and there's a couple now that we've loaded on YouTube. A couple of the shows are now, it's called Monterey on Tonight 2022, and there's 2 shows on YouTube, and then slowly we'll be adding more. But we're going to be doing our 9th show tomorrow night, and then almost 10 shows in another couple of weeks. And then we're going to have a reunion party after 24 shows. We're going to bring back all the guests and all of the co-hosts. So you're invited.
For a show or for a party?
Just for a party. Just for a party.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are one call shy of an absolutely full board right now.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's because we got off the subject of stress. Is that possible? I'm still very interested in people's stress stories and how they conquered the stress.
Well, doing a TV show. That got rid of my stress.
Really?
Yes. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways. Really, is also go to the gym, exercise, eat healthy.
Oh, it hurts too much.
I think a good food.
Good food.
Now
What's the food that's special?
Now that.
Cheryl?
Yeah. Well, see,
Talk about that. I'm hungry now.
Yeah, you guys, you're masters of that.
Yeah.
At Ella's.
We have Ella's at the airport. Go to our website at www.ellasinwatsonville.com, and you see all our full menu, family style, anything for events, reservation, and parties. Just email us there, and we will take care of it.
We'll probably have our reunion party at Ella's at the airport.
That sounds good.
Wow.
Yes.
What time of the day will it be?
Well, it'll be in the early evening, I'm sure. Probably
on a weekend?
Whatever suits you. You tell me, and we'll do it.
That would be wonderful because our dining area is going to open soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we can broadcast it live.
Sure, why not?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We like that. It's all part of having fun. As KSCO evolves, we want to make it much more of a fun station than an angst and stress creating station.
I agree with that.
Less and less politics and more fun and lifestyle.
That is wonderful.
Well, your show today was definitely one of those. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Really?
Fun show,
Even though we were talking about
look how many people you helped today.
All right. Well, let's get to some of those people I'm going to take next, and that's Rory in Watsonville. Rory, you're on.
Hi, and hello to your guests. I heard most of the show, so I'm going to close the deal. There's been a lot of talk about God and needing God and stress, and God's bringing us to Him through our challenges in life. And I met those challenges a month shy of my 18th birthday after living and wallowing in drug use and stupidity.
I had no idea, really. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I came to Christ. I was raised by God-fearing parents, so I had good examples, okay? I had no excuse. It was my sinfulness, my rebellion against the Creator that caused my trouble. And we know we live in a fallen world, so you're going to have trouble anyway. Mm-hmm. So I will say this to you, MC, Amy, and all the rest. Make your peace with the living God through His Son, Jesus Christ, because there's nothing more anxiety-producing than not knowing what's going to happen after you die. And you don't want to go into a godless eternity. You want to turn your life over to God and through His Son Christ. And for those that speak Hebrew, it's Yeshua HaMashiach. God sent His Son to the Jews first and then to the Gentiles. And he's there. All the early church people were Jews by birth. And Christ's life and his coming into the world as a man, he's God, perfect man, and he died, and he was the sacrifice for sin, and that's the only way to assuage our guilt.
Yeah.
So I'm closing the deal. The call's going out. The call's been there before. You're hearing it again. For those that are hearing it multiple times, Billy.
Well,
anyway, God bless you guys.
Yes.
And I'll let you go, but
Right back at
thank you for the show.
Appreciate it. Okay, here's Shirley in Santa Cruz. You're on, Shirley.
Thank you. Hello.
You're on.
Okay, this is Shirley. I am calling about, as a wildlife biologist, just referring to having to remove all that concrete would do more to the wildlife there and the water critters and everything than just leaving it. It's been there for, as I recall, 7 years or more.
Yeah, something like that.
I encourage people, I will be at the meeting Tuesday, and I encourage people that are able to come down just before 9. You don't have to speak, just a show of people. And then persons like myself, as a wildlife biologist, will be mentioning the science, as well as saying that if we lose this station, we lose the only emergency stuff in our county. And I know years ago when there were fires up in Corralitos, where I lived at the time, my brother called from Shaver Lake, I guess, and said, do you have fires there? And I said, looked out the window and said, no, nothing. And I said, oh, it is kind of red out there. I was totally oblivious, before 7 a.m. And I was able, driving down to my daughter's graduation for at Cal Poly, I got all the way but the last 20 minutes and was able to listen to the station, what was going on in Santa Cruz County with the fires, and then was busy doing her graduation and architecture showing. And so I didn't know what was going on until driving back, but it was such a secure feeling. I want to encourage people, I'll get off the phone, to show up at the board meeting 9 o'clock this Tuesday. Like
Great.
I said,
Thank you so much, Shirley. If that doesn't help, nothing will. So,
Yeah. Thanks
all right.
much.
Thank you very much. Here's our next caller, Jack in Santa Cruz. Jack, you're on.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, well, this is Dick from Santa Cruz. But
Oh, Dick, it says Jack. Are you sure? Are you sure you're not Jack from Santa Cruz?
Let me check.
Dick.
Yeah, let me check. Listen, humor's great, but I sent you a short little email. I think you're on a subject that should be covered a lot more on the Saturday specials or maybe even other show, because today's stress for everybody that has it, the driving 17 is just one thing. There's so many things in people's lives. I don't have to list them. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Not to mention, now maybe I'm stressful because I'm not going to go to heaven, from what Rory said. No. I would say you should get Ben Fuchs on to talk about mindfulness and meditation.
Meditation. Exactly.
Yeah.
I do every day.
Amy does that every day. It's a very important part of her life. Yeah.
It is.
It needs to become an important part of my life, and I don't know why it hasn't up until now, because I've known that for many years.
Yeah.
I just don't. Anyhow, Dick, thank you very much.
Okay.
Sorry I called you Jack, but that's what it says on the board here. Billy Sunshine, you're on.
I hope I'm not causing any stress when they hear I'm on.
Yes, you are. I can guarantee.
Cause everybody stress. You think a stress is partisan? You think a Republican has more stress than Democrat?
No, I think we're all stressed out. So a couple of things. Music is a great cure for stress.
Yes.
Your pets are a wonderful cure for stress. And I just want to say that.
But you don't have to clean up after music.
That's true.
Yes.
You know what? It's still worthwhile. I gotta say, it's all the pain in the neck. It's still worthwhile to have a pet in your life. It's really valuable. MZ, you sound strong today. It's good to hear you sounding this way. It's good to hear you talk about the future of the radio program as opposed to you're getting rid of the radio station. So that's very less. That helps us all have less stress because we love the station so much and we love you. So great. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you, Billy Sunshine. Our last caller will be Ted in Prunedale.
Hey, I wanted to agree with Rory that Jesus Christ will, relieve a lot of your stress. But I also wanted to ask a question about the concrete problem that, you're having with with Santa Cruz County. Do you have pictures on your website of the concrete that they're trying to get you to remove? No, we don't.
That's such an obvious thing. We don't have, we don't deserve to be in business because we don't do obvious things like have KSCO coffee mugs and KSCO bumper stickers. Natural things that businesses and particularly radio stations do. We don't deserve to continue. We really don't because we're idiots in the way we run this business. What a great idea you have, Ted.
Well, I would like to. I mean, I don't want KSCO to go away. I'm not in Santa Cruz County.
Well, somebody else can take it over. That would be okay with me. I'll sell this place for a nickel. I'd be happy to. But I would want it to be to somebody who will continue the legacy. But that might not be in the cards. Okay, we're at the end of the show right now. Thank you, Ted in Prunedale. And so thank you, David Pendleton. I'm going to read your email, not on the air because there's no time, but I'm going to read it and take it to heart. Thank you, Shallow. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Amy. And oh my God, we have to have the "That's All, Folks." If I can figure out how to turn it on here. Here, there it is. Okay.
That's all, folks.
You're listening to KSCO, Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey, San Jose.